What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another Touch Up Tuesday. This week we're going to cover a topic that is a little bit worrisome for some people detailing their cars out on their driveway: engine bays. I know what you're thinking. Engine bays, that means tons of electronics, computers, air intakes, all sorts of stuff that can be ruined by water and soap and cleaners and all that. But to be honest, newer cars, more current cars, they're actually pretty easy to take care of. You still want to use some caution, making sure to cover up any, computers or small pieces of electronics or anything like that that might be sensitive. But for the most part, with fuel injection and all that fun stuff, it actually is a pretty easy task to clean a engine bay. We're going to walk you through some of the basics, but before we jump into that, I want to walk you through some of what we get to deal with on a daily basis. Some of the engine bays for more classic cars, where there's open carburetor throats and all sorts of stuff where you definitely wouldn't want to just jump right in with a hose and start dousing everything down. You could really cause some issues. So follow me as we walk through some of the cool stuff we get to check out. What we have here is a 1911 Packard Model 18. It's a 30 horsepower, 326 cubic inch, 4-cylinder. As you can see, there's a ton of brass throughout here. We've got these little fuel cups here. It's, if you need to start the engine on a cold start, the magnetos down here on the bottom. It's a pretty cool, unique little engine. Next up is the infamous Porsche Carrera GT. Everyone knows this bad boy, 5.7 liter V10. Definitely sounds a lot like an F1 car going down the street. What we've got here is a 1932 Rolls-Royce chassis. It's got a 1945 Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, 1,650 cubic inches. You can say goodbye to your miles per gallon. Up next is a 1928 Bugatti Type 37A. Pretty cool little engine in this thing. It's a supercharged 1500cc 4-cylinder engine. What makes this really cool is this was Pierre Véron's actual race car. So this thing's got a lot of history behind it. Last but definitely not least, one of the coolest engine bays we got to hang around is Jay's 1966 Oldsmobile Toronado. It's a 1,076 horsepower, twin turbocharged, 427 cubic inch monster. All right, so this week we're going to be working on Jay's 1999 Chevrolet Corvette. It's got the 5.7 liter V8 and, as you'll notice, flip up headlights as well. Pretty cool. Unfortunately, the engine bay is a little bit dirty. Jay had it out, was romping around in it, so it's all dusty and everything like that. So we're gonna dive in, show you what it takes to clean up an engine bay like this and get it ready for the next show. First, you wanna make sure the engine is cool to the touch. You don't want to start dousing it with water while the exhaust manifolds and stuff like that are still hot. If you just got done driving, give it 30 minutes to an hour maybe before you dive right in. Trust me on this, you'll thank us later. Once you're confident everything is nice and cool, you'll want to make sure and cover any sensitive electronics. We made sure and threw a trash bag over the fuse block here just so we didn't have any water intrusion. You'll also want to look for any open air filters or cleaners and throw a trash bag over those as well, just to make sure you don't have any water seeping into those as you're rinsing everything down. All right, you want to grab your vacuum before we get started and go through any of the hood jams and anything like that and suck up any of the pesky debris, tree droppings and all that fun stuff. It's best to do this before you get everything wet. It'll help the vacuum just suck everything up without it being stuck to all the plastic. Once you got everything covered and vacuumed, you'll want to do a very quick and light pre-rinse. A couple of light sprays of water will help knock off as much dust as possible and get everything ready to be cleaned. As far as tools and chemical are concerned, we're going to use an all-purpose cleaner along with our boar's hair detailing brushes. We've got the short and the long-handled version of the brushes. The longer handle will help us get into those tight, harder to reach areas, and it's going to allow us to really scrub away the dirt and grime. Once you've got everything rinsed down and ready to rock and roll, spray a liberal amount of all-purpose cleaner. How much you're going to need here is going to vary based on how dirty your engine bay is. One thing to note though, you want to stay away from oversaturating any electrical connections. Most newer connections are sealed and weatherproof, but you definitely don't want to take any chances. Allow a few minutes for the cleaner to penetrate and start to loosen the tough dirt and grime, then get in and go to town with your brushes. Start with the least dirty areas first and save the real grimy sections for last. There's no real science here, just get in and agitate the dirt as much as possible. Once you've scrubbed everything, get your hose and do a very light rinse. Again, you want to try to avoid flooding the area with excessive amounts of water, but you also want to rinse it off nice and clean. After everything is rinsed and cleaned, you'll want to dry it off as best as you can. We're going to use compressed air. It makes the job a whole lot easier, and we've got it at our disposal, so it makes sense. You can use microfiber towels or a vacuum set on the reverse setting if you've got something like that available to you. Once you got everything dry, you can definitely finish up here, but you can also take it a step further by applying a light coat of tire and trim care to all the plastic sections. It's going to help the engine bay pop a little more. Again, it's nothing crazy. You just want to add a small amount of dressing to an applicator pad and then evenly distribute it amongst the plastic panels. I'd recommend coming back with a microfiber towel and wiping away all the excess. It's going to help you achieve a nice, even finish. Tire and trim care is great for something like this. It's going to leave a satin finish without being overly glossy, which then would attract a bunch of dirt and dust later on down the road and rendering your work useless. And voila, that's it. That's some of the basics to cleaning an engine bay. If you've got things like polished metal or chrome, you'll want to break out the metal polish to get everything kind of bling-tastic, but we'll cover that process in another video. We're sharing the tips and tricks we use to clean and maintain Jay's collection in hopes that it's going to help you learn a thing or two about caring for your own car. Let us know what you think in the comments below. If you'd like to see us cover some of the other popular detailing topics, drop us a line at info@lenosgarage.com. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and make sure to follow us on Instagram and like our Facebook page. The links are in the description below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.